And circling back to that news from the AI sector, the Biden-Harris administration has announced key AI actions as a concerning privacy complaint is directed at OpenAI all the way from Austria. To discuss this, I'm joined by Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. It's wonderful to see you. Let's start in Washington. What have you witnessed this week?
The White House has come out with a really extensive report on what they have done in the last, I think it was 180 days since the executive order was first issued. And they've looked at a whole range of things. It's actually quite impressive. I remember when this was first announced, there was a lot of scrutiny and people thought, oh, look, they're just making it seem like they're doing things, but it looks like they've actually been very busy. In the report about what they've been up to, it's covered all sorts of things focusing on AI safety and security, as well as looking at things like worker and consumer and civil rights protection, particularly around job displacement, which is also a huge fear around AI, and trying to really harness the promise of AI while not ignoring clearly the dark side, as we've talked about many times.
Absolutely, and I think it's important that the government, the US government, a body so large, actually engages with this. Do you think other governments will follow suit based on what the US is doing?
Absolutely. I think other governments, I can't speak for all, but I know there are similar things underway. I'm not sure how extensive, like this is pretty big what they've been up to, but I think there are measures by other governments currently underway because AI is moving so quickly. It's not something we can really ignore and just pray for the best or hope for the best. And of course the law has to and policy has to be relevant, and that's usually what happens if the technology moves faster than policy.
Very much. What do you think remains the biggest issue for people? Is it the loss of jobs at the moment? I feel like I'm starting to see a little bit more optimism when it comes to AI at the moment.
Yeah, I just think we're still learning about what it can and can't do, and it's still in its early days, really. It has been around for a long time, and particularly in some sectors, it has been used for a long time, but being used by the mainstream, I think people are just starting to really learn what it can and can't do, and that's just going to change. So I think it's all around education more than anything, and I think the more people learn about it, the more sort of comfortable they will be. And then it depends too, also knowing what the risks are and knowing that we're trying to do things, or the government's trying to do things to mitigate those risks, I think can help with that.
Absolutely. Let's move on to some of those risks and issues we've seen. Over in Austria, I understand OpenAI is under a little bit of a privacy breach. Take us through it.
Yes, it seems as though, OpenAI's ChatGPT has been accused of breaching EU privacy rules, and this is in relation to an instance where there was a public figure who repeatedly was provided with incorrect information after asking ChatGPT a question. And they went to OpenAI and said, can you please correct this and provide details on how this information is processed, and OpenAI refused to correct it, said it wasn't possible and wouldn't disclose any information around sort of its processing of data. And so that's been a big red flag. And so now the Austrian Privacy Commission are taking OpenAI to court just to see if they actually have breached EU privacy legislation.
I feel like this won't be the first time that this happens. I feel like they hide a lot behind the scenes, and there's still a lot of things we don't know. They obviously won't explain a lot of the things that they're training this AI on, as we've discussed. Do you reckon we're going to see more of this pop up?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And as we all know, AI hallucinates and makes stuff up. And until that is rectified, this is going to keep happening for sure.
Absolutely. Dr. Karen Sutherland, thank you so much for joining us on the program. As always, I look forward to speaking to you again down the track.
Thank you so much.